Namaste. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Namaste to everyone. Can people tell me where we are? We finished 17, yes? Fourth chapter, 17th verse. Are you able to hear? Is anybody willing to respond? Okay. I think we finished the 17th one. Oh, we are starting the 17th one. Really? But I want to do the 18th one. Yeah. I will do a little overview. Won't hurt. एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः हृदा मनीषा मनसा विक्लिप्तः य एतद्विदुरमृतास्ते भवन्ति. Yeah, we have finished this. Yeah, Hrinmanit, and we have talked about this Chaitanya, all-pervasive consciousness that is as though confined. Abhikliptaha means confined in certain, made finite, as though within this body mind sense complex, or rather within this buddhi manasa, in this, by this buddhi, this tiny little speck of a buddhi which the jiva possesses, this big, huge, limitless, all pervasive Chaitanya consciousness has as though entered this speck of a buddhi, and and is therefore, and buddhi associated with its limitations, etc. This is a spoof in two ways. One is that this Chaitanya has entered the body is a kind of a spoof, precisely because there is no entry really taking place, because what is entering what, if Chaitanya is entering of them, consciousness and the body must belong to the same order of reality. Because if a bee enters a pot, a pot of honey you keep, correct? Little pot of honey, and then you keep it outside and stand outside, and a bee will enter the pot of honey, and then go out, whatever. So like this, you can have something enter into something else, the locator and the located, the adhara and the adheya, ashrita. And so that means that there should be two things belonging to the same order of reality. But we are talking of Satyam entering into Mithya. How is that possible? Mithya is that which is dependent on Satyam. It's like saying the person entered his or her own shadow. Is that even possible? No, because the shadow is the person's existence. The shadow does not have a separate existence, cannot have a separate existence. It is dependent upon the person. So the person cannot enter the shadow. Yeah, but here that is possible. How? Maya. Maya is the Sanskrit word for so. It's this as though, and that's why we have to use as though everywhere, even though it makes us feel that we are grammatically incorrect all the time using as though, as though, as though. You know, we have to, uh, we have to, uh, be whatever grammatically incorrect because we are keeping on overusing the as though term. But here that's the first spoof. That Satyam is, it's even possible to talk about Satyam entering into Mithya. So that's why we have to say as though entering. You know, tad asrijat tadeva anupravishat. You know, entered, created this whole universe. Eko devaha vishwakarma mahatma. This excuse me, this Mahatma, this Mahan Atma, the only Atma there is, in the form of Ishvara, created everything again, as though created and as though entered. As though created, as though entered. And so that is the first spoof. Okay. Now, the second, there is also another spoof. The second spoof is this, that the, that this person who is this person? The person who is this querulous, complaining person. I am sad, I'm bad, I'm mad, I'm insecure, I want this, I want that, I don't have that. I want this again, I don't have this, I don't, get this. I'm not all right. This complaining person is nothing but all pervasive Chaitanya. That's what it is. All pervasive Chaitanya with a hand, with hands and legs and a big mouth to complain. That's what it is. And so therefore, that is the second spoof. So the first spoof is that this Chaitanya has as though entered, Satyam has as though entered Mithya. And then second thing is this whole mithya about which which is the topic of complaint doesn't really exist. That is the second spoof. This man may be complaining a lot. This fellow is complaining a lot. But really speaking, the topic of complaint is like the shadow, the person complaining about the shadow. So that is what this, the 17th verse really reveals and encourages us really to get to this another level. Another level of the the, uh, the teachings. Yeah. So somehow to dig deeper and sit more firmly in this. So it, and every morning we wake up to the understanding of these two spoofs. So that I have a body is a blessing, but it's not a limitation because all this is just consciousness. There is this Adi Shankara's verses, 3 verses. Pratasmarami, Hridi Samstuta, Atma Tattvam. So, first thing in the morning, what do I remember? Not what day it is, not what do I have to do, where do I have to go, what all is needing to be done. No, those are not the things to recall. Hridi Samspurad Atma Tattvam. Pratasmarami Hridi. I contemplate upon that in my heart, with my heart. What? With my buddhi. Samspurat, that which is alive. Samspurat means that which declares itself. As what? Aham, aham, aham. Aham, aham, aham iti sakshat. Sakshi rupena bhasate, that which declares itself, the witness of the whole universe, ensconced as it were in the heart. Pratasmarami hridisam spuradaatmatattvam. I recall that which advertises itself as I, because even before the thoughts, what day is it? What do I have to do? all these things before that, all those thoughts are dependent upon one thought, which is that I. Yeah, because dependent on the I thought are all the other thoughts. If the I thought was non-existent, then the other thoughts cannot be there. So the I thought, in a way, is a very basic thought. So I thought means I exist, the acknowledgement that I exist shining in the mind. The mind is not, the mind is not, what's the word for it? The mind is not advertising the I is advertising itself. The mind just becomes a blazing mirror, which already there. I don't know why it is going off and on so much. I just restarted it as Andrew had told me to just before the class. Should I restart the computer again in the hope that this will stop too much because it keeps going out and in? Or should we just continue? Okay, we'll continue. Just listen carefully. Yeah. So just listen carefully, and whenever it goes out, I will try and repeat. We'll take it very slow. Okay? Yeah. So, the first thought that comes is I am. And that I am is not a product of a thought, as I was saying. Listen carefully. That I am is not a product of a thought, but that I am is understood in the form of a thought, and it doesn't need the thought because that I am is self-revealing. But when we are on a chain of thoughts, what are the thoughts? What do I have to do? Where do I have to go? All that basic I is dependent upon that I thought, that I am existent, that I am existent, shining in the mind in the form of a thought. Because even without the thought, I am existence is already known. So Adi Shankara says, and the message of the 17th verse is just this, that, it's very easy to wake up in the morning and start the day. Throw off the covers, jump out of bed, jump into the shower. The whole day is spent jumping up and down. That's why the mind is also jumping up and down. Here, take just those 2 minutes in bed, not to put the snooze button and sleep some more. That's not the idea. This is after the snooze button. After the snooze button, take the time to just be, and take the time to see that that you are not this body mind sense complex. You're not the sum total of this body mind sense complex. Na pranena na apanena jivati martyaha. Kathopanishad says that the jiva, the mortal, the human being, does not live because of the breath, because of the prana or apana. Itarena sajivati. The life is not dependent on the breathing. This is something which you have to really understand. Because the body identification is because of the prana. The prana becomes a certain sutra, as it were, identifying this body as I. The body mind as I. So here, na pranena na panena na apanena jivati martyaha itarena sajivati. The person is alive. Itarena means through some other mechanism, through some other cause, not because of the breath, because the breath is also a product of the five elements. The prana is also a product. What is not a product is I. And this I, that is as though entered the body mind sense complex, undergoes a certain finitization, so to speak, undergoes a certain constriction. And in this constriction, as it were, that constriction, the prana has a big role to play. And this prana, in a way, we take it for granted that I can't breathe, I'm not alive, I'm hyperventilating, I'm dependent on the breath. Body is dependent on the breath. Brain is dependent on the breath. The tissues, organs are dependent on the breath and on oxygen. You are dependent on the breath. So, this is the contemplation that these kinds of verses encourage. Pratasmarami hridisam spuradatmatattvam. So, in the morning, even when I'm half awake in the morning, I contemplate upon that Atma Tattva, that essence because of which the breath is possible, because of which this body is possible, that which animates the body, that which powers the breath. And what is this? What is its nature? Satchit Sukham Paramaham Sagatim Turiyam. Satchit Sukham, it is Satchidananda. It is the only thing that is existent. And it is all knowledge. It's sentience. It is sentience embodied. It's all knowledge. And it is of the nature of happiness. What happened to the complaining jiva? I don't have time, I don't have this, I don't have time. Gone. Yeah. Satchit Sukham Paramahamsa Gatim Turiyam. It is Turiya. It is not the sleeper. I'm not the one who's, I'm not just the sleeper. I'm not just the, waker. I'm not just the, what? Dreamer. I'm not a combination of the sleeper, waker and dreamer. I'm that which is Chaturiya, the fourth one, which is not a state, which is my hometown. All these other places I visit. It's like a pilgrimage. You have what is called in India, we have this Char Dham pilgrimage. You go to Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath, Badrinath, like this. You go to various places. Usually people go to 2 or 3, they don't go to all 4. Kedarnath especially very difficult to reach, especially after floods and everything, lot of devastation has taken place. And so, they don't go there. So generally they go to Teen Dham, Tridhama, three places pilgrimage they go. So they go to Gangotri, where it is believed that it is the source of the Ganga. Then where else do they go? Yamunotri, the source of the Yamuna. Then they go to Badrinath, a very important shrine in the upper Himalayas. So each place they go, they enjoy themselves, they visit, they bathe in the holy waters, they offer prayers, flowers, etc. They interact with the locals, they buy things, souvenirs from the various shops. And then what happens after the visiting of the 3, holy places, after the pilgrimage and the 3 temples and all are visited, what happens? Back to their home place, whether it is Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta or any other small places, back to their home place. Similarly, this Atma goes on a little pilgrimage. Now it is the waker. Yeah, It enjoys the waking state. It is the only state where it can do and it can also reap and enjoy the consequences of its doing. So it is both, it can identify as karta and bhokta only in the waking state. In the waking state, it is full of control. Yeah. It bosses people around. You over there, what are you doing? Shut up, don't do this. Why does it boss people around? Because it can. It has a certain clout, you know. It can preach. It can do all kinds of things. And then, you know, and then it reaps the karma phala of its doing, and then it waits for that. Drishta phala, it waits for that. And then what? And then it enters as though this Atma enters as though the sleeping state. And then what? There it is just uninhibited sukha, bhoga personified. It enjoys the sleeping state, unencumbered by the body mind. It takes a little vacation from the body mind, all the aches and pains and the coughs and the flus and nothing, even with a stuffed nose and sore throat, sleep comes. And when the sleep comes, nothing disturbs. Huh? So Atma enjoys that pilgrimage, and then what? Then it enters the dream state, and then there also it is bhokta, because the raw material for the dream is all the memories and desires. Yeah, and all the memories, the desire, and its own knowledge of the specifics and general things, create an alternative reality, an alternative world where again Kridati plays. But this is not the nature of the Atma is not the waker, not the sleeper, not the dreamer. That was just a pilgrimage into these three states. Atma is what? Paramahamsa gatim turiyam. Paramahamsa means all knowledge, a sage, the one who is free, who knows that, oh, I am living in this body, I'm indwelling this body, mind, sense complex, I'm not confined by anything. This understanding, the one who has, is called Paramahamsa. And this Paramahamsa Gatihi, that Gatihi means the ultimate end, whose end is that alone, whether the one is embodied or not, this is the end. The Atma has already, it's an end that is already gained, and it's an as though end to be gained by the one that is identified with the body, mind, sense complex. Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam yat swapna jagarata sushuptamavaiti nityam. Yat, that Atma which is aware, which is awareness personified. Of what? The sleeping state, the waking state, and the dreaming state, the one who is a witness to all of them. Tad brahma nishkalamaham nacha bhuta sanghaha. I'm that Brahma. I'm that Brahman which is free of this body, mind, sense complex, which is impartite. And I'm not na bhuta sangaha. I'm not the conglomerate body, mind, sense complex. I'm not a composite of these five elements. This is the first thought that has to be trained, for this knowledge to assimilate. This is what is called nididhyasanam, because often the shravanam is not enough, particularly in Kali Yuga. If it is enough, wonderful. Nothing more is needed. In fact, that's all is needed. But there are cases where the Shravanam is not enough because we have persistent and very stubborn vrittis, orientations that stop one from enjoying and assimilating this knowledge from living the knowledge. That's why we get the question often, I know I am Brahman, but how to live it? I know I am Brahman, but how to experience it? This is how, this is why those questions come, because there is not enough, abhyasa. Abhyasa means there's not enough exercise in the opposite orientations. So the habitual patterns predominate. One gets out of bed without even thinking about it. Thinking that I have to brush teeth, that means what? I am as good as this body, mind, sense complex. I'm not saying don't brush teeth, okay? Yeah. So, therefore we have to, you know, therefore we have to be very careful about this, this gentle, this conscious but gentle disidentification. And that is what is the message of the 17th verse here. And so like this, if we just have in our own words, we are not Adi Shankara. We cannot be, even 1/10 as eloquent as him, even in the English language, forget Sanskrit. We are not Adi Shankara, but we don't have to be Adi Shankara. You can think in English. You can have your own Pratasmaranam, composition in English. And, wake up slowly and deliciously, knowing that you are Shuddha Chaitanya. All that you are is just free of all encumbrances, starting with the body-mind complex. This is what has to be deeply internalized. Otherwise, the knowledge sits in the throat. Yeah, doesn't go down. And we have a glass of water. One more study of the Upanishad doesn't go down. So the knowledge is there, but it doesn't go down because, some contemplation is needed for dislodging habitual, what is that called? Habitual orientations and patterns. Next one is the verse 18, and we will do this will be the last verse that we will study in chapter 4, because I took the time to look at the others that follow, and some of them we have already done, like verse 20, na sandrishe tishtati rupamasya na chakshusha pashyati kaschinenam hrida, and there we saw that recently. Where did we see that? Yes? No? Any memory bulbs lighting up? Look at 20 in the text. Text you can download here. Already here it is there if you haven't done so already. Nobody is interacting. Are you hearing? Are you there? Are people there? Should I stop talking? Here? Here? Okay. Okay. So this one, does it seem familiar? The 20th one, does it seem familiar? Yes? No? Doesn't matter if it doesn't seem familiar, but at least show some signs of life, okay? Yeah. Yeah, not sure. Perhaps. And I'm not sure MM means. Yeah, have seen before. Some familiarity seems to be there. Yeah? Kind of. Okay. We saw this recently in the Kathopanishad along with Bhashya. न सन्दृशे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनम्. Now, yes. Yeah, that one. Now, the second line, was actually the second line which we just did. Hrida Manisha Manasa Abhikliptaha Ya Etad Viduhu Amritate Bhavanti, where in the Kathopanishad. But here it is slightly different. So like this, there is a lot of repetition which we have already done. So we will now, after doing this verse, which one? 18th one, we will skip to chapter 5. Yeah, going right along. So now let us chant this verse. Yada tamastannadivanaratrihi न सन्नज्जासच्छिव एव केवलः तदक्षरं तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं प्रज्ञा च तस्मात् प्रसृताः पुराणी यदा तमस्तन्नदिवानरात्रिः न सन्नज्जासच्छिव एव केवलः तदक्षरं तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं प्रज्ञा च तस्मात् प्रसृता पुराणी. Yeah, very nice verse. Very nice mantra. That's why I wanted to do it. Yad, yada. Not yat, yada. Yada means when. Atamaha. Yada atamaha. Let's understand the meaning first. Yada atamaha. Tamaha means what? Tamas means what? Huh? Quick. What is the meaning of tamas? I refuse to go forward till you tell me the meaning of tamas. Ignorance. Tamas here, in this context, ignorance. Always remember, in Upanishad, tamas means ignorance. Sloth, yes, in the daily activities, sattva, rajas, tamas. But tamas really, whenever you hear it in the ignorance, don't bring in dark, light, anything. It is ignorance. Okay? So, yada atamaha. Atamaha means in, yada means when the Atma, little play on Atamaha and Atma, word play, but Atma is not talked about here, it is understood. So, yada Atamaha, when it's all knowledge, nadiva naratrihi. So, when something is all knowledge, then, the light of that knowledge, so to speak, the proverbial light of knowledge, when it's all light, then how can you say when is day, when is night? Day and night are relative and opposed to one another. They form part of the reality of the oppositional, what is that? Good, bad, day, night, all these things. Duality. They form part of the prasrita, the duality that is as though spread in the form of the Jagat. But by itself, nadiva naratrihi. And similarly, in the 15th chapter, we have a verse of the Bhagavad Gita. What is that verse? We have the verse Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Lord Krishna giving his address. Oh, Lord Krishna is giving the address? Yes, we can go visit him anytime. Oh, really? Yes. There are no people, sentries standing at the door with bayonets. No. Free to go anytime. Really? I don't need a ticket. No. I don't need an appointment. No. Does it cost money? No. It's all free. Yes. Just for me. Yes. So, how to go there? What is the description of this house of Lord Krishna? Yad gatva na nivartate. First, na tatra suryo bhati, na tad bhasayate suryaha. There the sun does not shine. Oh, already maybe it's a nice moonlit place. Bhagavan Krishna's house, and maybe he's playing the flute under the moonlight, nicely dancing with the gopis. There is certain romanticism there. And he's just, dancing with those sticks, that nice stick dance from Gujarat, Dandiya, he's doing with the gopis in the moonlight. Natadbhasayate suryaha. Okay, no problem. I like a moonlit Vaikuntha. I can go there. And then what? Next line. Natad bhasayate surya na shashanko na pavakah. So there is no moon. It's a amavasya. Oh my God, no sun, no moon, pitch dark. How to even see Lord Krishna? Even to see, I need a flashlight, right? Or I need my phone, because all these phones nowadays, they have one flashlight feature. So maybe I should take my smartphone and look for Lord Krishna there, because in this pitch dark, where to see? Already now I'm not feeling like going. First I was really feeling like going. Now I don't feel like going only. Why? Because this, the no sun, no moon, but maybe it is still romantic. Why? Because you can have those torches, those natural flaming torches, like the ancient version of, what is that called? Candlelight. What to do? This is how it is. So, candlelight. This ancient candlelight dinner, like, so they would have these blazoning torches, and then the people are dancing. Lord Krishna is dancing with the gopis. Wonderful. Napavakaha. Napavakaha means there's no torch. There's no phone flashlights. And there's another thing. I went to Japan as a guest of this very, very, very popular, some holy Shinzo Ito, one very popular spiritual leader. She has a million followers, not just on Twitter. Yeah, in person. Okay, yeah, they will come wherever she's talking. She's have at least 200, 300,000 people, attending her talks. So I went to Japan for this, and so we were, a group of us were her guests of honor. And what she did was she had the ambience was wonderful. I mean, the audience, there was spotlight on all of us, and the audience, we could not see the audience, but then they had these little small electric colored lights that they would wave. They would wave to us, and whenever they waved that meant. I mean, I asked, what does this mean? I think they were not allowed to clap or something. They did clap, actually. They did clap, they laughed and everything. But then, whenever they really liked what we said, little wands of moving light, some little electrical gizmo, they would wave like this. And so, what you saw was this, you didn't even know how many people were there. It was a pitch dark hall, and you would see these little, lights waving, and that's how you knew how many people were there. So perhaps there will be this little pavakas. No, I don't want to go to Lord Krishna's house now. It sounds like a non-fun place. Wait, there is more. What's more? How can it be worse? Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. My ultimate abode is that which has no sun, no moon, no stars, no, no lightning, no firebrands, no little electrical sticks, no glowworm, not even a single glowworm, okay, by which you can see anything. And not only that, as right here, right here is what, that Yada atamaha, when it is all knowledge, where the ignorance doesn't have a candle there, ignorance cannot even come there. It is all, it's all bright knowledge. There's not even a shadow of ignorance. Same thing. Krishna's house also is right where you are, right there in the buddhi, so to speak, recognized in the buddhi, recognized in the heart. That which pervades this body mind sense complex, that which pervades this body, this mind, that which pervades all bodies and all minds, that is Krishna's abode. Here also the abode of the Atma. Yada na diva na ratrihi yada atamaha. When the whole thing is all bright, there is no night, there is no day. It's all light all the time. And then what? Next one. Na sat na cha asat Shiva eva kevalaha. You can't say it is existent. Oh, ayyo, now we are in real trouble. Oh, then it must be non-existent. Na asat, you cannot say it is non-existent. And then what is it? Shiva eva kevalaha. It is all auspiciousness at all times. Kevalaha means it's the only thing that is the source of all auspiciousness. Anything that is auspicious is anything that we consider Shiva is just this existence alone. This existence, but that which is talked about, na sat, na asat. Very interesting. So, very cryptic verse, but very beautiful. First, what we said, where there is not a whiff of ignorance, and ignorance usually is seen, is compared to darkness. Ignorance is compared to darkness because of the inability to understand, the inability to see, the inability to know. But here it's all knowledge. There is no inability to see or know or understand. So there is no question of day, night. There is no question of, anything. Any oppositional realities, it does not brook. Dharma, adharma, night, day, good, bad. Just like, young Nachiketa's question. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra adharmat, anyatra asmat, kritat akritat. Anyatra bhutat bhavyat yattat vadasi, yattat pashyasi, tad vada. Tell me that which you see, that is away from this, dyads, these diametrically opposed, entities. Dharma, adharma, that which transcends dharma, adharma, which transcends kritat, akritat, that which transcends karma and karma phala, another dyad, that which transcends dharma and adharma, that which transcends the future, past, all these time divisions, which is again another manifest duality, that which transcends all these, dyads that we find, that which you see, please tell me. Here the same thing is being iterated in a different context. And so here the statement is being made, yada atamaha, because yada here is almost like because it is, without a whiff of ignorance, self-ignorance and ignorance of everything else. No ignorance is there. It cannot be there. So therefore what? The whole question of, divisions, night and day means time, because it is all knowledge. It is not succumbing to time. Yeah. Because it is atamaha. Atamaha means also unborn. So this knowledge is not a manufactured knowledge. It's an unborn, uncreated, unproduced knowledge. It simply is. And that simply which is not subject to time. So nadivana ratrihi, two meanings. One is it is beyond it, it's beyond all these dualities, night, day, etc. Dark, light, night, day, all these things. And then it is also beyond what? It is beyond this time, the concept of time, is beyond, because it is outside of time, so to speak. How can it be outside of time? Because it is, time is yet to come. It has to create time. It has to create space. So it's outside of the space-time matrix. It is unaffected by the space-time matrix. And so therefore what? It is not, and therefore just like Krishna's house, which is objectified. All the meaning of Atamaha, knowledge. It doesn't need to be pointed out. You exist. You don't have to consult anybody. I keep telling you this. You are there, not. You don't have to. And so therefore, here also, you don't have to consult anybody. And because of this, there is, atamaha, because there is not even, a whiff of objectification. You are, and you are without being objectified. And that's what is said existent in the form of an object, nor can you say it is non-existent. And this in the Bhagavad Gita in two places. The first one is what? Asato vidyate bhavo. Na bhavo vidyate satah. So that, asatah bhavaha na vidyate. That which is non-existent cannot have a being. Na abhava vidyate satah. That which is existent cannot have a non-being. So, and the one who knows the truth of things that have being and the so-called things that don't have being is, Tattvadarshi. Tattvadarshi means the one who, and so therefore, the same thing is being underscored in the theme of the Bhagavad Gita. And in the 13th chapter, in the beginning somewhere, 11th or 12th verse, we have the same thing again. And what is that? Anadimat param brahma na sattannasadam na sattannasad uchyate. Geyam yattat pravakshami. That verse. And then anadimat param brahma sattannasadam sad iti uchyate. So, Geyam, that which is to be known, O Arjuna, I am about to reveal to you. And what is that? Anadiman. This Param Brahma is beginningless. And then it is told, Uchyate, by the people who know what is what. What do they say? It is said by the people. What is said by the people? It said, it is neither Sat nor Amritam Ashnute. You will be totally, free of death, free of ending, because if you know that which is without beginning, you thinking that you are finite, you will be free of all endings. All endings are just notions. Geyam yattat pravakshami. Amritam ashnute. Nasat it is neither existent nor it is non-existent. And here one spends the first 5 years in Vedanta easily. One spends the first 5 years memorizing I am of existence. I am the existent one. It's all me, I'm existent. One spends the first 5 years, memorizing that. I am Sat, I am Sat, I am Sat, only to be told you are neither Sat nor Asat. By these cryptic verses, you are made to wake up. Otherwise, it's like snoozing Vedantin. Yeah, in between, you just press the snooze button. Yeah, yeah, I know I'm Satchidananda. Okay, I can tune off and just think of what I should eat, where I should go. I'll come back. I'm right here. As soon as the teacher finishes talking about this, I'll come back. So the Upanishad keeps you, spinning, keeps the mind spinning. So that doesn't really get angry. Oh, this is Sajananda. I know what joke she's going to tell. I know what's going to happen now. So let me just switch off little bit. No switching off. Why? Na sat, na asad iti uchyate. Here also, na sat, na cha asad. Okay, so now we are in the dangerous. We are very close. The lines, crossing the lines between Vedanta and Buddhism. So the Buddhist reading this mantra will be happy. Yes, nothing is existent, nothing is, and in fact they will say there is a little spelling mistake, everything is non-existent. Spelling mistake asti, typo, that's what they will say. But here, no typo. It's only to stop all this typecasting in the mind. This is being said. Very beautiful. Na sat, na cha asat. So it is not sat. But I thought Atma is Satchidananda. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. You know, that was a different meaning of the word sat. Here sat means that which is existent as an object that needs to be pointed out, that needs to be objectified either overtly or covertly. Overtly means talk about it as an object. Covertly means talk about it, like think about it, like what is it called? Witness perception. Sakshi Pratyaksha is an example of covert objectification. Like when you stand at the bus stop and inadvertently, without looking at the time, know that you have been standing for 15 minutes. That's a covert objectification of time. And then you look at your watch and then you see that indeed 15 minutes have passed by. That's a covert objectification of time. Yeah. So, what is that? Nasat, nacha, asat. And then so it is not asat, you cannot call it sat, it is not an object that is to be gained, that needs the 5 sense organs or various pramanas that we have at our behest, like anumana, like arthapatti, inference, etc. of various kinds, logic, all these things we don't need. Why? Because it is asat as an object. It is not an object. And so it is non-existent as an object. So it's not existent at all. Why? Because it is not an object that can be called out and say, this is parimana. Parimana means the measure. Atma is this heavy, like when they do an autopsy, sorry to bring in a morbid, example, but when they do an autopsy, I'm told that they weigh the various organs. They take out the liver and weigh it and say this is how much, the size of the liver, the weight of the liver, the volume of the kidneys, all these things they measure. So similarly, they cannot take out Atma and put it in the measuring thing and say this is the parimana of the Atma. No. Why? Because it is not Sat as an object. Anything that we say exists, we immediately need a means of knowledge to objectify it, don't we? Yeah. So when I say flower exists, how? Because I have eyes, I'm seeing the flower, it exists. No, 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 no. Now we are Vedantins. The existence of the flower, it doesn't belong to the flower. The existence of the another flower doesn't belong to that flower. It is pure, pure, and you have to elongate the word pure. Pure existence. Can you see that? No? Can you point your finger to that? Even if you are a, you know, even if you are a lively Vedantin who's been, dipping in this all the time, you can't really, put your finger there. You can't point to it. You can't catch the Atma. You cannot say, here, come sit down, I'm going to measure you. I'm going to take a selfie with you. You can't do that. Yeah. You can't take a selfie with the self because you are the self. Yeah. And, you know, and therefore what? So therefore, you cannot say it is Sat as an object. You know, like the Kena Upanishad says, na, this is not Brahma, ye janaha upasate, that which people worship. Worship means objectify. That which people worship, whether it's an object of desire or what is sitting on your altar, if it is an object of worship, it is not Brahman. You know, ye janaha upasate, that is not Brahman. And so, whatever is objectified is not Atma, so na Sat, not that which is objectified. So therefore, it is not existent. Very easy to conclude, okay, close up shop, what else to do? Not so easy to conclude. Why? Because, it is not non-existent. Now this is a head-scratching moment. It's neither existent, non-existent, nor non-existent. Oh, I know of one thing that's neither existent nor non-existent. Do you know that? What is that? Tell me. What is that which is neither exist Vedanta wise? Okay, Vedanta wise, Vedantically speaking, what is that we always say is neither existent nor is it non-existent? What is happening to people today? Nobody is talking. Yeah, talk. Yeah, Maya, Mithya. Thank you. So now we know Atma is Maya. Atma is Mithya because it is Anirvachaniya. Sad Asad Bham Anirvachaniya. You cannot say it categorically exists. You cannot say it categorically non-exists, not exists. So now we are in a big quandary because now we are coming dangerously close not only to Buddhism, somehow we warded off the non-existent part, but now it is neither non-existent nor is it existent. Now what is the conclusion? Atma is nothing but a dependent reality. But upon what does it depend? Another Atma. And then upon what does that another Atma depend? Yet another Atma. This is called circular thinking. Anavastha dosha. Anavastha means it's a endless regression. We get into an infinite regress. So Atma, that meaning we cannot take, again, it's dislodging all these, set definitions. After a few years in Vedanta, everything becomes packed. Yeah. What is packed? Satchit Sukham Atma, Satchidananda Atma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. There's only one Atma and that is Brahma. And then what else? What is non-existent? Non-existent means Tucham, absolute non-existent like square, circle, etc. And then what else is there? Then there is a special category which is neither can be called existent nor can it be called non-existent. Somewhere in the middle like Trishanku it is hanging and that we call Mithya. All this is all memorized, pat. Here it is being, made threadbare. Made threadbare so that the understanding goes deeper. So here what? It is neither non-existent, it is neither existent. And it is neither existent, and no, it's not mithya. Why? Because of the next word. Shiva eva kevalaha. Kevalaha means it's the only thing there is. Shiva. Shiva means that which is always a source of auspiciousness. More we will see. Not next week. Next week we have class. That's a long time to wait till April. We don't have class next week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with this tomorrow. Yeah. So that when we come back, we can start on chapter 5. Okay. So tomorrow, no Kathopanishad, we'll continue with this and finish that off. Any objections? Is that okay? Okay. Yeah, we will do that because, we are in the flow, so to speak. Let us continue, okay? Yeah, I'm so happy to see Lakshmi here. I have been thinking of you for, yeah, we are in the thick of it. Very good. Lakshmi, I was wanting to contact you. They have booked my ticket in such a way that we may have to postpone the satsang at your house. We may have to postpone the satsang at your house at the end of the month. I was going to contact you. Can we do that some other time? Because I won't be able to make it in time. Yeah, sorry, darling. I'm really sorry about that because I'm coming from some. I didn't even know these things are exist. These places are existent in the United States. They have these people have their meetings in some corner of the universe in the United States. Some mob in mob. Is it in Colorado or Utah? Moab. M-O-A-B. Moab. And, yeah, Utah. Yeah. Moab. Yeah, whatever it is. Moab or I called it Moab. Anyway, so in Moab, and from there to get to a decent place with an airport, and by the time I come from there and fly, it will be 9 o'clock. I'll be reaching 10 o'clock probably. So therefore, we will postpone it. You can come to Philadelphia. I'm talking the next morning there. Okay, I'll let you know the details. All right. Yeah. I know. I'm disappointed too. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Vasanti. I also enjoyed myself. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Yeah, write to me. I'll also write to you, okay? Yeah. Om. We'll postpone it. You come to Philadelphia the next day. I want to see you. Yeah. Om.